Hello everyone, welcome on today's webinar, which will be held in the topic of MobileNAV 6.0, the latest release. After a short introduction, I will hand over the virtual microphone to Tibor. You most probably know him, or even you're registered to hear him speaking, not me, of course. Tibor will talk about the latest features of MobileNAV 6.0. I have spoken about the 4.11 version. We have jumped to 5.0, and from 5.0 we are now going to 6.0, and this is because we have recently decided that every major release will get its own major version and not just a subversion. So it feels more like a modern and current version. The 6.0 is the latest major release, so it will introduce a lot of exciting and new features that you have been, and some of them for waiting a long time, like push notifications, map view, current position. But I don't want to steal the show from Tibor, so he will talk about these features in detail later. Regarding the releases and the different versions, we have implemented a very simple but useful tool to track the roadmap of MobileNAV. To access it, simply go to our website and scroll down on the home page. I will show you how you can do that. So, as you can see, this is mobilenav.com, and if you scroll down, below here you can see the public roadmap of MobileNAV. You can even see the latest releases features. You can see the next release, it is 6.0. Here you can see all the features that we are about to talk in a few minutes. And even you can add your idea requests, function requests here, and based on voting and further point of views, we will might be able to develop in that direction that you are asking. So switching back to the presentation, before Tibor can start, there is one more thing I need to talk about. As it is the end of the year and the holiday season is coming rapidly, probably this is the last webinar that we will do this year, and where I will speak to a wider public. We at Multisoft, we would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude for being with us this year. So thank you very much for that. And I personally hope that next year this whole pandemic issue will be finally the past, and we can meet in person at the conferences. Still, this year has been an eventful year, to say the least, and there have been tons of challenges, successes, and things to be thankful for, despite the unprecedented difficulties. During the holiday season, we will be harder to reach, but of course not impossible. So if you have any sales-related inquiry, drop us an email to contact@multisoft.hu. This is a group address that we check time to time, and you can call me on my cell as well. This even rhymes. So support-related issues will be monitored, of course, but you might experience delay in answers, as our colleagues will spend the time with their family as well. So we will send the usual newsletter regarding support, accessibility, and yeah, we really appreciate for your understanding regarding that matter. If you have any deals that can be still closed until the 21st of 31st of December, and you need any assistance with that, please let me know, and as always we will do our best to support your case. And one last thing, I promise this will be the last before Tibor starts the more exciting part. As we are still facing the pandemic and some of its effects might last longer, I can't emphasize enough to hold on together. So if you have any struggles with payments, enhancement, renewals, or any kind of issues with MobileNAV related, things or other products of Multisoft Innovative Solutions, please contact me and we will try to figure this out. So stay safe and healthy. And now, Tibor, if you are ready, it's your turn.
So, hello everyone. Let's start the technical part of the webinar. But before introducing the new features of CISA 0, I would like to just talk a couple of sentences about the previous release, which was FireNode 0. Just to recap its features. In FireNode 0, we have introduced a couple of usability features like quick edit and quick actions on the lists, so you don't need to directly open the cards. You could also already do that on the list level and via multi-selecting the records and executing functions, etc. That's a quite interesting and great feature. We have also introduced opening lists from lists directly when you have really just a list where you want to just go one level down and you don't need the card layout of the list item, then you can skip it. That feature is for that reason. We have also introduced quantity increase on repeated scanning, which is very useful for warehouse employees when they want to scan and count via scanning the barcode of the item, for example. One more feature for the warehouse, which is the printing the labels. Now you can basically print multiple labels at once via specifying the number of copies. You just need to slightly adjust the ZPL template for that. And we have a totally redesigned configuration handling UI where you can create configuration snapshots, load them, export them, or delete them. So basically, this helps for the configurators to check and maintain the different version of the configuration during development. So that was just a quick recap for FireNode 0, and let's see the new features of 6.0. This is the list. It's not very short, as you can see. So just to quickly run through that: push notifications, map view, record current, GPS position, etc. We will go one by one, and I will try to show you the details of this. So let's start now. First of all, the biggest features of CISA 0 is push notifications. But just to give you some background why we did not done that or implemented that by now is that it has a couple of challenges. So, of course, as you know, MobileNAV is running on different mobile platforms like Android, iOS, Windows C, Windows 10, etc. So we have many different platforms, and for each platform there are messaging systems. So there is one for Google, one for Apple, and also for Windows. But we need a very easy solution which handle all of them in one go. And the other thing is that if we introduce a built-in feature like sending notifications, then who will pay the bill? So we, as the vendor, we would not like to basically pay for each and every notification which is sent through MobileNAV. So we had to find out a way how your customer can set this notification framework up for himself, but it's still easy and manages all the different platforms. And the solution is to use and configure Azure Notification Hub and also an Azure function. Because with this combo you can have access for all of the different messaging systems, and we also do provide a detailed instruction. You will see this during the demo, and basically this notification hub and Azure function can be set up within 5 to 10 minutes. I will also try to do that during the demo. And yeah, these are the steps basically. So we need to create an Azure subscription first. I of course won't do this during the demo, so I'm already having one here. And then we will start from point 2, where we will create an Azure Notification Hub. Then we set up the different connections for the different messaging systems. Then we will copy the access policies and paste them into the MobileNAV general setup. And we also set up an Azure function with a zip deploy package and the final adjustment in the MobileNAV add-on, and you are basically ready to go. So let's quickly jump into this. So I will open the browser. So I'm already logged into the Azure portal with an account of ours. And as I promised, first we need to create a notification hub. And yeah, this is a standard story. You need to select your subscription. You can create a resource group like test3. You can define the notification namespace, the name of the notification hub. Of course, these names and these namespaces should be unique. You can change the location where this notification hub should be hosted on, and of course the pricing tier. But once you have defined all of these details, then you can press create, and basically the deployment will start. Until this is starting up my new deployment, I would like to just show you a couple of smaller features in the story. So I will go and log into MobileNAV, because what I would like to show you is a very short story, which is basically about how we have changed the decimal and integer formatting in MobileNAV. Prior to 6.0, the formatting could only be specified on the decimal places level. So basically, if you remember, we have a decimal places story in the past, which allows you to basically specify how many digits do you want to see when you are specifying the quantity, which is a decimal field. So basically here you can you can already control how many digits you allow when you are basically entering the number, and it also affects the formatting part. But now, from now on, you are not just seeing this kind of formatting, but we are also including the 1000 separators. And in Hungary, we have a formatting setting that we are basically separating the thousands with commas. So now the quantity, as you can see, is having the 1000 separators as well. So this is just a small usability feature. Now let's go back, and maybe the deployment of the notification hub is ready, so I can continue the setting up of this notification hub. As I promised, the next step is that now the notification is running. Then you can go to the access control. Into the access policies. Sorry. And in the access policies, you will see basically two connection strings. One for the listen only connection string, which is for the devices basically, and the other one is the full access connection string. The full access connection string is for creating notification messages or sending notification messages to the hub, and the listen is for receiving the messages from the hub basically. So let's copy the listen connection string first, and I switch to my environment, and I refresh my web client and navigate to MobileNAV. On MobileNAV, I go to the general setup, and down in the general setup, you can see a new Azure Notification Hub fast tab, where you can enter the details of the notification hub. Of course, you need to specify the name, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I can copy now the listen shared signature basically from the portal. If I go back and copy the full access, some window management problems. So I can copy the full access signature, and this is the 3 parameters what we know so far. So let's continue the setup. So I'm on the browser, okay, and the next step is to set up the different messaging systems. As you can see on the panel on the left, you can have Apple, Google, Windows, Windows Phone, etc. And I also promised that we have a nice guide for setting all this up. I have not shown you so far, but basically this is describing all the different steps what you need to take in order to create this configuration. We have already done the notification hub creation, so that's basically finished, and we have copied the full and listen only connection string. So the next step is to set up the different messaging system. The first one is the Google Firebase, and basically it's very simple. You just need an API key for that, which the document contains. So if I switch back and go to the Google, then you have an API key setting here, and you copy and paste it. And once it's ready, then you just need to press save here. So that's now ready. The next one is the Apple push notification service. That's a little bit more complicated, but here again, you just need to copy and paste values like the key ID, the bundle ID, the team ID, and the token. But as you can see, the document contains each and every setting here, so you just need to carefully copy and paste the different values, and the application mode should be sandbox. And now you can also save this. And the last one is the Windows. That's basically containing two settings, the package SID, which you again just copy and paste, and the security key, and you just save. So as you can see, within a minute I could set it up the different messaging system like Apple, Google, and Windows messaging system, and basically now my notification hub is capable for sending notifications to the devices. But what is left? Basically, we also need to enable the MobileNAV add-on to be able to send notifications to the hub. And since there's no built-in tool which can handle the notification hub from CAL or AL code, we had to create a very simple Azure function which basically retrieves certain parameters, and with these parameters inside the Azure notification, inside the Azure function, it will send the notification to the notification hub. So basically, the Azure function is for simplifying the process and allowing a very simple interface for the notification hub, which is a web service basically, which the MobileNAV add-on can invoke and send a notification through that. To set this up, you need to create one more resource, which is the function app. For the function app, you also need to select a certain resource group. You can enter the function app name. The publisher should be code, and you need to select the .NET Core runtime stack, and you can select the region. The rest can be left as default, but you can also play around with hosting and monitoring and tags, of course, but it's not really needed for now. So I will press create. Again, it will need a couple of minutes until this is being set up. So until that is set up, then we can talk about some other features. Yeah, regarding the push notifications, we can talk about how you can send notifications once the notification hub and the Azure function is set up. First of all, we have introduced a UI from the MobileNAV user setup page, from where you can select a couple of users and send notification to those users. Basically, you will see something like a text box where you can enter some message, and you can send it out to the selected users or to the over users. This can be useful if you want to announce something across your mobile users, because they are out on the field and you want to send a notification that by the end of the day they need to synchronize and upload all of their changes because you would like to upgrade MobileNAV, for example. So that's one option. The second option is the programmatic way. We have introduced functions in the MobileNAV object functions code unit, where you can basically send push notifications to different users, and not just users. You can send out messages to profiles. So basically, there you just define which profile do you want to send a notification to, but the same applies to the salesperson code or resource code or locations. So basically we have introduced different methods which you can use to programmatically send out notifications, and you will also see an example for that. But my function app is ready, so I navigate to my resource, and what you need to do is that you scroll down and you go to the advanced tools and press the go. You will need to, again, because this is opening a different window, you also need to select your Azure account here. And basically the install a package from 6.0 will contain a zip deploy package, which you can simply drag and drop it to this advanced environment. Here you just go to the tools and zip push deploy. And this allows you a simple drag and drop interface where you can just drag and drop the package from the installer file. I also show you how the installer package looks like. So I scroll down to the 6.0 packages. And for example, for BC17, we have a new folder inside the installation package with the push notification, MobileNAV push notification AF zip. And you just simply drag and drop this to the zip deploy UI. And the system will now upload this zip package and extract it, and it will execute certain server-side logic. But at the end of the story, what it will do is that it will create a new function, which is the send, and that new function will appear on the function app. So now if I go to the functions, there is a new function which has been created with the zip deploy package, and if I go and select the send button, then I can push the get function URL, and from there you can basically copy and paste the function URL to the MobileNAV add-on, because now if I switch back to my environment, there is one more setting, which is a send notification Azure function URL, and this is where you need to paste the Azure function URL, and basically we are ready. So I don't know how much minutes was this, but basically we have set up the notifications for this environment. So let's try it out. I will launch MobileNAV. It's already launched, but I need to, of course, log out and log in back again, because during the login, the MobileNAV application will retrieve the push notification settings from the server, and on the next login, it will initialize the notification hub from the client as well. So now I basically logged in and hopefully registered for notifications, and I go to the users first and select my users, which is the field service user in this case, and I press process and send push notification. Let's say hello. Okay, and as you can see, I have received the notification on my device, and this is not just working when the application is running. Of course, if I log out and even close MobileNAV and switch back to the UI, I can repeat this. Hit hi. And I also received it now, and MobileNAV is not running at the moment. So if I click on the message, then MobileNAV will be started. And if the login configuration is set up in a way that the password is being saved, then it also logs you in inside MobileNAV. Okay, and yeah, one last demonstration regarding push notifications is how you can programmatically send and what you can use the push notification service for. The environment what I'm showing right now is a Servotion environment which contains many different field service related enhancements. And one enhancement here is that we also using Dime scheduler for graphically scheduling the service tasks in the company. I'm switching to the Dime scheduler for now, and I will a little bit zoom into my day. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm having two open tasks here, and with simple drag and drop technique, I will drag it, drop it to the timeline of Linda, because Linda is the user, the resource user who I'm logged in basically. And at this moment, I have implemented a very simple integration which sends out a notification to the device, to Linda, that a new service task has been assigned to him. And when Linda is pressing this push notification, the application will load and automatically log in and will show him the service task on his mobile device. So I think this is a very nice integration, a very nice example of what you can use the push notification for and the power of this notification framework what we have put together. And of course, in this moment, Linda can start to handle this service task on his mobile device. Okay, back to my slides. Okay, next feature, map view on lists. If you remember, MobileNAV already capable for showing a certain address on a map. So when you have address fields on a card layout, then MobileNAV can open up the map view and put the address in and put the pinpoint to the map with showing the address of the customer or the ship to address, etc. Now we have basically implemented a story which is about showing the list view on a map layout. So within this story, you can basically use the map already existing mobile type address fields, and you can switch your list view into a map layout. I will already show this how this works. So if I go to my service task, on the service task page, I'm already having address fields, mobile type address fields, and if I'm pressing the view settings on the list, I can see now a new feature which is a map view. And if I select it, then the MobileNAV application will use the geocoding service to geocode the different addresses in the list. So I had a couple of records in my list, and basically it geocoded the GPS positions of those, and as you can see, it put all the different pinpoints to the map. So as a technician, I can basically overview my service task during this day, and I can decide which order I would like to execute them if there is no rule for that, for example. But of course, you can imagine in your customers what they can use this cool new feature for displaying data in a different way. And if you, for example, click on a certain pinpoint, of course, the same will happen like if you would select that from the list itself. So if I'm clicking on that, the card layout opens up on the right of the map. Okay. Okay, next one. The next one is record the current GPS position. This is a new story as well. Basically, this is about to record the current GPS position at certain point in time. So for example, when the user is executing a function or doing something in MobileNAV, then you would like to know the current GPS position for certain reason. This was already requested by partners and customers in the past, but we always said that, okay, there is GPS tracking, so if you have GPS tracking turned on, then you can basically use the current time and find the most recent GPS position, and you could use that. But yeah, the answer was that, okay, this is nice, but it would be much better if you can enforce that the GPS position need to be registered when he's pushing a certain button. So therefore we have implemented this story, and basically it is also very intuitive, I would say. I've already configured that for my service task. I hope it's working, because I didn't have time to try it out. So now if the technician is pressing start, yeah, it's working. When he's pressing start now, before executing the function itself, it is opening a map view, and it's trying to locate my address. On the basically toolbar of the map, or above the map, you can see how old the coordinate is. So it's quite recent, because it has been retrieved just now. And if you press on the details, you can see the latitude, longitude, the accuracy, and the date time of retrieving of this coordinate. And by pressing the refresh, you can basically restart the process of querying the current GPS position, and then it will be also refreshed. But when you're launching this UI, it also automatically refreshes, so you don't need to push it normally. And if you are fine with this address, then you can press the use, and then the function will be executed. Or if you press cancel, then you can cancel this. So basically, this story is about the possibility to require the user to send his GPS coordinates, and you cannot cheat. So you cannot just enter the GPS coordinate. The device should retrieve it from the location service, of course. Okay, two other story which will follow: the configurable predefined filters and the server side filter management. Both story is around filtering the data. The first one is basically about how you can filter the data without writing code. Because when you, for example, think about MobileNAV based configuration, then of course we include many pages by default. But when you are about to implement MobileNAV for a certain customer, most of the cases the requirement come, okay, but I would like to only see those items which has an inventory, or only those customers which are, I don't know, assigned to me, etc. So these are different kind of predefined filters which the users normally cannot break. And with this filtering, you can basically limit the number of records to be sent to the device in an offline mode. So this is more relevant if you are working with offline, of course. But with the configurable predefined filters, you can narrow and filter the data sent to the device, and you don't. And the most important thing is that you don't need to write code for this. Okay, let's see how that works. I'm going back to my environment, and I go to MobileNAV, because I've already created one example for the predefined filters. So I scroll down to the service items. It's called SN service item in my case. So I'm searching service item. And there, I will make this a bit bigger. If I go down to the offline part, I don't have page level filters, but I will then set this up. And basically, you just use the status, for example, and say that the filter value should be installed. And once I set it up, then from the next moment, when the user will log out and log in back again, then it will filter against the status of the service items, and it will automatically filter the values. So let's see what we have done. So now if I log out and log in, it will of course download the new configuration. But if I go back to the service items, then you can see that there are a couple of service items here, but not all of them. So for example, the 60 range, the number 60 range of the service items are not here because they are not installed. And all of these service items are really within the status of installed. So this is the predefined filter. And one other example, and with the predefined filter, you can choose whether it should be an online filter. So it's basically like a predefined filter, which the user cannot break. But you can also configure the old offline page level filters, which will be only applied in the offline mode when the device has already downloaded the data, but you don't want to show them. And as an extension to this, you can also switch these predefined filters on and off on the profile level. So if you log into the profiles, then you can enable or disable the different server configured filters. Okay, the next story, as I promised, is the server side management of the filters, because the idea was to allow to centrally defined filters, predefined filters, which are basically used as safe filters for the user. So these are basically commonly used filter settings which the user can use during his work. As an example, I have created one for the items. So if I navigate to MobileNAV back again, and I go to the items, then you can see that I'm already having a safe filter here. The safe filter is called on stock, and this safe filter is basically containing a very simple filter that the inventory should be bigger than 0. And basically this is a server managed filter. And if you check the MobileNAV user interface in this case, so I open up the lines of the service task, and I open up the items, then you don't see any difference here. But if you click on the filter button on the list itself, then you will see the on stock server side filter, which has been defined centrally. So basically the centrally defined filters will be visible to each and every user. Of course, you can also control this on the profile level, but I will also come back to that. And basically if the user applies that, then the items will be filtered with the inventory bigger than 0 setting what we have defined on the server side. So these two the configurable predefined filters and the central filter management makes the filtering even more convenient, because you don't need to write code for this, and you don't need to copy app data across the devices, because you can easily centrally define certain filters or predefined filters, and with that you can very easily filter your data on the MobileNAV devices. Okay, and the next story is also about usability. You may already know that MobileNAV also supports exporting and importing the app settings. In the settings, you already have import settings and export settings, but from 6.0 we also allow you to save these settings to the server. So when you will press the export settings, then you will have the option to save it as a default for yourself. And from the server side, you can very easily, from the MobileNAV user setup, you can copy and paste these settings across the different users. I will give you an example quickly. So if I go back to for example, to the service items, I will search for for a certain item number here. So this is a filter for myself, and yeah, this has been also already created by me on this particular device, but we can also try to create a different one. So let's unlock this one and filter for 88001. Like this. And it shows basically 4 different items. And let's save this filter and name it like this. So now I'm having basically 2 saved filters on my device. And prior to 6.0, you could go to the settings and press the export settings, where you can select what you want to export, but you have received a file which you had to manually put to another device and import that on that other device. From now on, you can basically save it as a default for yourself. And if I press that, then I can of course select what do I want to save. I will save all of them. And since I'm having an auto online offline profile, I need to do a synchronization cycle quickly, because this will upload my application settings to the server. But once I have done that, this of course also works with a background refresh. But now if I switch to the server and I go to the user list, and select the field service user, then in the process you will see that this user now having a default app settings for himself. If I'm selecting the other user like demo EN, then you don't see these options, because this user doesn't have default app settings saved yet. So now let's try to copy these user-defined filters for demo EN user. The process is very easy. You select the field service from whom you want to copy the settings. You press the copy, and all the other users will be offered in a list where you can basically select which user do you want to copy the setting to. So now I have copied it to demo EN. So now I can also use this and copy it to another user as well, or I can also clear the default app settings for this user. Now let's go back to MobileNAV and log out with this user, and create a copy of this login configuration, and I will rename it to demo user. Save it, and I log in with this new user. So this is basically the situation when a new user is logging into a certain device, and you will see that after logging in, the system will show a message automatically that there is a server-side app settings available. Here you go. So there's a new app settings on the server. Do I want to apply it? And if I press yes, then the different portions of the app settings will pop up, and I can choose what do I want to import, the save filters, filter preferences, etc. And I will import all of them for now. And the application will show me that I need to log out and log in back again in order to apply this. So I will do that. And once I relog into the system and I go to the service items and I open up the filter panel, there you can see these saved filter, and these filters are not from the server side because they are not flagged with a star at the end, like on the items where you have the on stock, for example. And so these saved filters came from the field service user itself. So I think this is also a very nice usability feature, how you can ease the moving the settings from device to device with the help of MobileNAV. Okay, the next story is showing and hiding filters on lists. Previously, you only had the option to play around with the visible property of the fields. And from now on, we have introduced one more checkbox for each and every field on a certain page where I can control whether it should be visible as a filter or not. Of course, during the upgrade, we will initialize it from the visible value, but from 6.0 now you can control this independently. So if you have a combined page, which is also a list and a card, like an offline page or a list and card page, then you don't need to split your page anymore, because now you can control what the user will see on the filter panel, so which fields he can filter against, and which will be visible on his card, and this can be totally independent from each other. Okay. Yeah, next feature, device ID. This is a smaller feature, I would say. We have introduced a new mobile type, which is device ID, and you can flag a certain field with this mobile type. This should be a non-visible field, and basically it is used for registering the device ID of the actual device. So when you are, for example, creating a new record into that page, then the actual device ID will automatically upload it into that field, and this is a non-visible field, of course. And the list itself will also be filtered by device ID automatically. And we have also one more option. All of the different extension methods, which has been introduced in 6.0 maybe, or even before that, those extension methods can be used for extension development, but they are also useful when you have CEL code, for example. Those extension methods are also extended with this device ID parameter. So if you use an extension function, then you already receive this device ID. But of course, if you just use it as a parameter on your custom function, you can also have the device ID from device when that button is being pressed. Yeah, and the last story of 6.0 is regarding the staging. Staging and workflow is a very cool feature of MobileNAV, which basically gives you a small workflow during a process, like in warehouse. When you are picking an item, then you can restrict the user to execute certain steps one after the other. And the idea or the request from the partners was that in certain cases, it is not possible to scan the item barcode or the bin barcode for some reason, because the barcode is damaged or the light condition is not good enough. So in those cases, if you just use the workflow and staging, it doesn't allow you to continue until you don't scan. And in certain cases it's not possible. So now the configurator can decide whether a certain step in the stage, like a mandatory or a scan to validate field, can be skipped or not. So we have introduced a new field, which is allow skip, and if you set it, then you basically on the mobile device you will see a next button, and the user can continue and skip this stage from the workflow itself, so you don't have the restriction anymore. And yeah, the configuration is, as I said, fairly simple. So if you go to the warehouse picks, for example, where we already have staging, there, if you go to the staging part, I will make this a bit bigger. Then now we have this allow skip field, and I can basically say that the item number is not mandatory. So if he cannot scan it, then he can press next, and that field can be skipped basically. Okay, and the last one, the decimal and the integer formatting, we have already covered. So basically that concludes the feature introduction part of 6.0. And let me give you a couple of announcements before we continue with the Q&A part. First of all, very important is that I think now it's time to retire 2009 R2 version of MobileNAV. So basically what we would like to announce is that 6.0 is the last release of MobileNAV, where we also maintain the 2009 R2 version of NAV. From the next version, which is going to be 6.0, we don't release MobileNAV. Of course, the existing partners can upgrade to 6.0 without any problem, but the new installation can only install 6.0 from now on, because we don't release 2000 R2 anymore. It's just too much work. We now, as you can see in the support portal, we are releasing more than 14 different NAV versions. So okay, there you go. So if you check, for example, the different 6.0 releases, I cannot even fit it to my window. So basically, we are supporting 2009 R2 or above to the 17, the latest Business Central 17 release as well. So this is a very huge work for us to maintain all of these different NAV versions. So now we have decided to at least get rid of 2009 R2. The rest is quite manageable. So we will planning to keep them. So both the CEL and the EL version of MobileNAV will be available. And yeah, you can, since I'm already logged into this support portal, you can see that the configuration guide for notification is also listed here, and the normal what's new and how to upgrade guides are also available, and the updated diagnostics tool for 6.0. So these are the different materials for 6.0 release. It's already available and you can download it. The application, you might already realize that the applications are available, so you can download them, you can test them, and you can give us, of course, feedback regarding the latest release. And as my colleague Berton already mentioned, we are also trying to improve and be more transparent. So we have decided to introduce a roadmap on different platforms. This roadmap is running on Product Stash, which is a nice tool, and basically I've included the links, the direct links to the Product Stash UI, but we have also embedded that on the mobilenav.com website, as Bertalan showed that to you. But it's also available on the SharePoint partner portal. If you log in, then you can also see that. And yeah, as basically Bertalan showed, we have different buckets here, which are basically the different releases. I have left there the 5.0 releases, but we are about to complete them. Each and every completed story and feature will be visible in the updates. So once I will set them to completed, you will still find it in the updates. So maybe it's worth to mention. And yeah, then we will also introduce a 7.0 bucket here, and we will put there the features where we have decided to include that in the 6.0 release. Now we have the 6.0 features here, which we have talked about, of course. If you click on a certain feature, then you can have detailed information about that. But basically, this is also including the what's new. So basically, this is also the what's new document, just in a different format. And the nice feature with Product Stash is that you can vote against the different stories, and you can like basically these features, but not just the already implemented features, but the future ideas as well. And this is what I'm really asking you for. You have a new idea, add idea or request button here, where you can basically, of course, you can provide your name, email, title, etc. But basically, you can describe your idea. And once you do that, then we will see it. And then we can decide when and how do we implement that. So I really ask you to submit your new ideas. We are as always more than welcome them. And if we see a high demand for that, then we will really likely to implement that in the next release. So that's about product stash. So once again, add your ideas or requests, and also use the vote button, because the most upvoted features will be implemented in the next release. So we are not sending out questionnaires or surveys for the new features anymore, but we use this nice product stash UI to collect the ideas and collect the importance or the votes for the different stories. And yeah, this concludes my presentation. And if you have any questions regarding 6.0 or any other questions or comments, then please share it with us. Yeah, the first question was that the colleague missed the date, and will the webinar be recorded? I really hope so. I think that's automatic. As you could also see, we have switched to Teams live event, and I think that's automatically done there. So we will publish the recording after the webinar and send out a newsletter which will contain that.
Yes. And further, we always upload our recordings to the YouTube channel, so I suggest you to follow the Multisoft Innovative Solutions channel on YouTube, and you can always find us at mobilenav.com, where the latest news will be published as well, so stay tuned there.
Okay, and there's couple of new questions here again regarding the recording. Of course, that will be available. Yeah, let's see that there was one technical detail that in the general setup there are two map ID fields. How to switch between Google Map and Bing Maps? The Google keys and the Bing Map key is for the Bing Map key is for Windows 10. As far as I know, you can't switch between Google and Bing Map. So Windows 10 will use the Bing Map. The Android will use the Android Map. But as far as I remember, the Google Map ID is not needed for the Android. So because the Android device itself is capable for using the Google Map, and you don't need a key for that. That is basically for distance calculation on the add-on part. So if you want to use Google for distance calculation or geocoding services, then you can use those options in the general setup to register the Google key there. And the Bing Map key, I also show that to you. I close this one. So basically, we were talking about these settings here. As you can see, since I was using the Windows 10 application in order to use the map view on the Windows 10 device, you need to have a Bing Map key. Yeah, if you are interested, I can send you a very simple step-by-step guide to how you can generate the Bing Map key, but it's not that complicated, to be honest. And as I said, the Google Map API key is for geocoding services and distance calculation, but it's not really used by the applications themselves. So basically, the map view itself will use the platform-dependent map. So be it a Google Map or a Bing Map, or on Apple we are using I don't know which ones, to be honest, but maybe a built-in control of Apple for the map itself. But you don't need keys for them, only for the Bing Map on the Windows 10. Okay, I see one new. If there is other questions who we can turn to, of course, you can ask Bertalan or myself. The contact at MobileNAV.com is still available. I think that's also on the PowerPoint slides on the last one. Yeah. So yeah, contact at moodsoft.hu or MobileNAV.com. Both works. The next one is the central phone of ours. And you can use the partner.moodsoft.hu for the partner site, or the MobileNAV.com also contains contact information.
Yep.
Thanks for the answer.
Welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah. Are there any questions? Okay, if there are no other questions, then we would like to thank you for the attendance. I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and yeah, stay tuned. Once we have decided for the 7.0 release, then we're very likely to hold a webinar about those features. Until that, we are also planning some other webinars, which are thematic webinars, like for warehouse or field service, or sales or production, etc. So Bertalan will always notify you and announce these webinars to you, but we are planning to have different webinars in the different topics.
Yeah, just one thing to add to that. We have also a LinkedIn page. Mainly the webinars will be published there. And of course, we will keep on sending the newsletters. So if you can subscribe to the newsletters, then you will be always up to date whether there is a webinar coming up that might be informative for you. So yeah, basically that's it. Thank you very much for your attendance. And yes, I mentioned, I believe this was the last webinar this year. So if we don't talk to you until then we want to wish you a happy holiday season and a very successful next year. And let's hope the next year will be less difficult than this year and the pandemic will be over. Yeah.
Yeah. Stay safe and healthy.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.